This is Evelyn, and I'm joined this morning by a very special person. We have a really interesting relationship here. We are both co authors on the new book that's coming out, Open Your Gifts, that is being sponsored by the actress and comedian Kim Coles. Today, who I've got with me is Miss Sabrina Dean. Sabrina, good morning, and thank you for joining me.
Good morning.
How are you this morning?
I am doing fabulous. How are you?
I am doing very good, and I'm very excited for this book, and most importantly, the amazing people that I'm meeting through it. I'm really excited. So I just want to delve in and pick your brain. You're an amazing woman. I've read a little bit on your background, and I just want to ask you, what are you reading and why?
I am currently reading several articles about lack of women CEOs in organizations for my dissertation. I'm
Oh,
currently a
very good.
doctoral, thank you. I am currently a doctoral candidate for my doctorate of business administration with a concentration in healthcare administration.
Oh, very nice. I just helped one of my good friends finish her doctoral dissertation, and it's a lot of work, and I really appreciate what you're doing. That's quite something. We have quite a difference in our numbers as far as women that are in executive leadership opposed to men, isn't it? And I imagine even so, more so when we come to minority women.
Yes, that is correct.
Very interesting. Well, that's great. So, also, we're talking together, and this is going to be put out there, and I just want to know somebody of your intellect and putting out to society, what are you listening to right now? Are you listening to any special music or podcasts?
No, I currently listen to smooth jazz. My favorite artist is Boney James, and I like to listen to his jazz to help me relax. Between working on my dissertation and being a wife and the other hats that I wear, um, that's what I choose to listen to at this time.
Well, that's nice. And then we just lost, I guess she's a jazz musician, classical jazz, Aretha Franklin. So that's very timely. So I have another question for you. So I'm going to put this question out to the audience, and we're hoping that you will reply to us in the comments so we can see what you think. And I'd like to know, Sabrina, what is the best advice you have ever gotten?
Think before you speak. That is the best advice I have ever received in my life. Life is all about relationships. And when you have relationships, regardless if it's with your parents, your children, etc., choose your words wisely because words can sever important relationships or could even damage people. For example, if you're speaking to a young person and you could, say to them, if you don't do this, then you're not going to amount to this, or you can't be this, or you can't be that, etc. So those negative words could have a damaging effect on that individual in their life. So think before you speak, because again, life is about relationships.
That's really good advice. I think all of us could take that and hear it sooner than later. I know I probably could have heard that earlier in my life. Thank you very much. Um, Another question I have for you, can you give us just a high level about your chapter? And let me just go over the book again. This is an anthology. It's 42 authors that are sharing their journey, lessons that they've learned. And Sabrina has a chapter in the book, as do I. But Sabrina, can you tell us a little bit about your chapter?
The chapter in the book is titled Single Black Male Parent, and I was raised by my father along. My brother and myself was raised by my father because my mother died when I was 3 years old from a brain tumor. So I was raised by my father. And so in the book, the chapter that I um, have written about is showing gratitude for my dad and just being very thankful for him to take on that challenge as a single black male parent to raise me and my brother as a single parent. And there are some things that, as a little girl, I didn't know. An example, and it is in the chapter, and you can find more examples in there when you have your book. But one of the examples is that as little girls, little girls usually emulate what they see their moms. So, for example, if their moms are wearing high heel shoes and makeup, etc., they'll tend to see a little girl may walk in her mom's shoes, high heel shoes, or put on makeup. Well, as a little girl, I didn't see that, so I didn't have the opportunity to emulate it. But what I did see is my father standing in the mirror shaving. So, as a little girl, I put on his shaving cream thinking that I was supposed to shave also. Um, so that is one of the things that my dad said, no, this isn't for you. This is little girls do not shave. Um, Little boys shave. So just different things like that that I had to learn more about being a female versus being a male. Because again, I didn't have that woman figure to emulate after.
That's interesting. That almost ties into what you were saying about be careful with what you say. Almost we have to be careful with what we do, no?
Yes, that is correct. That is correct.
It's interesting. I come from a lot of very dominant female, lots of women in my family, very few men, and I didn't even think of that. That's a really interesting insight. Thank you for sharing that with us. I
Yeah.
have one other thing I'd really like to point out here. I'm noticing in your bio that you are a co-founder of the African American Women Giving Circle of Dayton, Ohio. Would you like to share any information about that?
Yes. Actually, we are celebrating our 10th year this year. The group was founded in 2008 by myself and two other African American women, and we get together quarterly. It's about 25 women that are involved with this group, and we get together quarterly and we choose an organization, a nonprofit, and we write our checks to that organization for a set monetary amount. And that is our way to give back to the community. One of the ways we give back to the community. And along with that, we're able to fellowship when we meet quarterly. So it's, more of a bonding period for the women and also to give back to the community.
That's wonderful. I really like hearing that. It seems like so far between you and the other authors that I've chatted with, that seems to be a common thread that they really give back and think about, circumstances really outside their own. They're in touch with their community, either near or far. That's wonderful. I'm involved in a nonprofit myself, the Hike Fund, the Hearing Improvement Kids Endowment. I'm on one of the board of directors. We just changed our name from impaired to improvement. We wanted to have a better thing. So I really like that you're involved in that. So I think that pretty much wraps it up. Would you like to say anything else to the audience before we wrap this up?
Yes, there is one other thing that I would like to say and leave the audience with is my favorite quote. And my favorite quote is by the late Maya Angelou. And it is never make someone a priority when all you are to them is an option.
Oh, that's great. I love it. I'm gonna jump on that and share my favorite quote as well. I mentioned that I come from a family of strong women, and if you have been around me at any moment at all, you know that my grandmother, she was a counselor for substance abuse people. She went to school, and my mother and uncle were a little bit older. They were still in school, and she left. She went down to Tucson, Arizona, told my grandfather, "You're watching the kids." Came back and helped open up one of the first alcoholic uh, counseling places here where before if you were found drunk in the public you were just thrown in jail. And the reason I give that background is she had a business card, and on that business card she had this quote, and I believe I can credit it to her. I can't find it anywhere else. It says, kindness, the most powerful force on earth.
Yes, and I absolutely agree with that, especially with being a registered nurse. And even prior to becoming a registered nurse, because of my upbringing by my dad and was taught, you accept people for who they are. And that's something that I've taken with me in life, no matter if I'm talking to, someone that's homeless or someone that's a CEO of an organization, I treat everyone the same. So, and as a nurse, I can see people at different stages in their lives.
Mm-hmm.
regardless of their background.
Oh, that's beautiful. Thank you. And I believe that you wanted to do a book giveaway, correct?
Yes, I would like to do a book giveaway.
Okay, so when we put this out here, what we would like the audience to do is to answer the question, what is the best advice you've ever received? And that'll foster some learning and some community here. And then one of you people who put the comment out there, we're going to select. And our friend Sabrina on the line here is going to reach out to you, and you're going to get a copy of the book, Open Your Gifts, which so far I'm so excited about. I haven't got to read all the chapters. The women I've met, and we have a couple men on there too, I believe, have been just phenomenal. So please give us your comments. I'll have underneath this video how you can reach out to Sabrina, and she'll be picking a winner for a copy of the book. So thank you very much, everyone. Have a beautiful, beautiful day, and we look forward to interacting with you and having you read our book. Thank you.